Imagine you meet someone and immediately notice something peculiar. He walks around incessantly clapping his hands. And the next day you realize that once again, he's walking around clapping his hands. And as this pattern continues for several weeks, you assume that he must have some kind of biological disorder forcing him to act this way. You begin to get used to this strange behavior, accepting this boy's nature. And one day, as per usual, you see him clapping his hands. And suddenly, the inexplicable happens. The boy stops clapping his hands, looks right then left, waves at you, and then goes right back to clapping his hands again. And your first response is absolute shock. But a moment later, you begin to realize the fascinating truth. This boy doesn't have a disorder, and he isn't being forced to clap his hands. Every moment he chooses to clap his hands. And as soon as you witness a brief moment when he chooses not to clap his hands, you know that the clapping has been in his control all along. And this connects to something so important that we learn in this week's Parsha. We are complicated beings living in an exceedingly complex world. And many people become overwhelmed by the complexities of life and choose to live within the confines of simplicity rather than attempt to navigate the tumultuous path towards the truth. Yet those driven by imagination, curiosity, and a higher will choose to embrace the complexities of this world, seeing the true beauty behind the nuance and sophistication of the Torah in our universe. Those striving for the truth constantly question the nature of the world we live in. And through the miracles and the makos, the plagues of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, Hashem revealed himself to the world. The laws of nature were broken. The impossible became possible. The unfathomable fathomable. But to understand and appreciate the meaning of a miracle, we have to first attempt to understand nature itself. The very idea of nature is enigmatic. After all, what do we mean when we refer to the natural? Naturally, what goes up tends to come down. Nature also causes rainstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, and appears to be responsible for disease and illness. We tend to give nature credit for most of what happens in the world. However, any thoughtful Jew should be troubled by the concept of nature. If Hashem created the world, how are we supposed to approach nature? Is nature independent from Hashem? So, to answer these questions, we have to take a step back and analyze the different forms of belief and disbelief in Hashem. At the end of Parshas Bo, the Ramban famously delineates the three basic types of disbelievers in Hashem. The first category is comprised of those who don't believe in Hashem at all. They believe instead that the world has always existed without any creator whatsoever. After all, when you look around, do you see Hashem? You can't see, hear, touch, smell, or taste him, so how do you know he exists? And such questions have caused many to reject the existence of Hashem altogether. However, there's a second category of disbelievers, and these people are willing to accept Hashem's existence. They look around and observe a world that's so exceedingly sophisticated and beautiful and conclude that there must have been a creator who designed it. I mean, just spend a few days studying human biology and you'll marvel at the wonder and brilliance of a single human being. However, this second category of people claim that once Hashem created the world, he left. And as a result, Hashem is unaware of anything happening in this world. And this is referred to as the watchmaker theory. Once a watchmaker creates a watch, he leaves it, and it continues to run completely on its own. And there are a number of reasons why people would feel abandoned, and therefore adopt such a theory. Again, we can't see Hashem in a revealed manner. And additionally, if Hashem is all-powerful and a perfect being, why would he lower himself to deal with the finite, limited world that we inhabit? And furthermore, when you look around the world, you see so much pain, suffering, bloodshed, and sickness, and even worse, these terrible afflictions often plague tzaddikim, the righteous, while many Rishayim, evil people, seem to live peaceful, often extremely pleasant lives. So why would Hashem allow this to happen if he were running the world? And within this group, others mistakenly think Hashem is like most human beings, who begin a project, eventually tire of it, and move on to something else. They claim that after creating the world, Hashem moved on to some other project or interest, leaving us abandoned in the universe. And these are just a few of the reasons that this second group of people claim that Hashem has left our world to the random and coincidental occurrences of nature. And finally, the third group claims that Hashem didn't leave the world, but is rather limited and weak, unable to intervene in the events in the world. And he's fully aware of what's happening in the world, but remains passive. And this group claims that Hashem might have been powerful enough to create the world, but he's not powerful enough to control it. Thus, they question Hashem as an all-powerful being. Well, the Ramban continues by explaining that the events of Yetzias Mitzrayim uprooted and disproved all three of these heretical perspectives. By performing the 10 Makos, splitting the Yam Suf, and redeeming Klal Yisrael, Hashem shattered each mistaken paradigm. Beyond revealing the fact that Hashem exists, that he knows everything that occurs in this world, and that he's capable of intervening, Hashem also revealed his all-encompassing power. Through the miraculous events of Yetzias Mitzrayim, Hashem showed his control over and ability to uproot the laws of nature. However, the question then becomes, what is nature? If you take a moment to contemplate nature, you'll find that almost everything in the world involves a cause and effect relationship. The world seems to abide by certain rules, with very few exceptions. Why does the sun rise every morning? Why do seeds grow when you plant them, give them water and provide sunshine? Why does time always move forward? How does a complex human body maintain homeostasis? How does such an intricate planet maintain homeostasis? When you take a moment to ponder these questions, you can't help but wonder what's causing all this order. And of course the answer has to be nature. And this brings us back to our original question of what is nature? So Rav Eliyahu Destro explains that even those who do believe in Hashem have different ways of understanding nature. And these differences in understanding correlate to three distinct levels of belief. The first level of belief is maintained by those who completely believe in Hashem's existence, but also believe in a concept called nature. While Hashem may have created nature, it's a self-governing, independent entity that maintains this world. Hashem is a transcendent being and exists beyond this world, while nature is the mechanism that governs our physical world. And typically such a person believes that if he abides by the rules of cause and effect and works hard, he'll be successful in life. And of course he still realizes that Hashem possesses ultimate power and can intervene to overrule nature at any point, and he'll therefore daven to Hashem with tremendous kavanah, tremendous concentration, saying, please don't interfere and mess up my plans. In other words, this person believes that everything runs naturally unless Hashem decides to interfere. Rav Dessler places this as the lowest of the three levels of belief. The second, higher level of belief is maintained by those who believe that Hashem directly controls nature and causes everything in this world to occur. Like a person writing with a pen, Hashem has complete control over nature and uses it like a tool. And this results in a much greater appreciation of Hashem's presence and providence in the world, hashgacha, as one recognizes that everything that happens in life comes directly from Hashem. And accordingly, nature has no independent power, and one's experiences in life take on incredible spiritual relevance. However, this person still views nature as an entity distinct from Hashem, merely used as a tool. And this begs the question, why does Hashem need a tool? Tools are only necessary when you can't accomplish a task yourself. You only need a pen because your finger itself cannot write. So is Hashem limited in that he requires a tool called nature? So the third level, which is the highest level of belief, is one that requires a developed understanding of Hashem and his relationship with this world. One who attains this level understands that nature is simply an illusion, a mask for Hashem's will. In fact, nature does not exist as an independent entity at all. What we call nature is actually the actualization of Hashem's will. Hashem is complete oneness, and therefore nature isn't separate from Hashem at all. Rather, nature is just a term we use to identify the seemingly routine events of cause and effect that we witness each day. Just like thoughts originate in your mind and come into fruition through action, Hashem constantly wills everything into existence, and everything in this physical world manifests as a result. Thus, this world is really a reflection of a much higher reality. This third level is the one presented by the Ramban in the same passage we mentioned before. He explains that the open miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim reveal to the world that nature itself is really a hidden miracle. In other words, there's no fundamental difference between the astounding miracles and wonders that Hashem performed in Mitzrayim, whereby he uprooted the laws of nature, and the extraordinary wonders Hashem performs every single day. There is no template or natural system called nature. Rather, Hashem wills the same wonders into existence every second to make it appear as if there's an independent system in place. We perceive and refer to these constant miracles as nature. And in essence, the only difference between open miracles and nature is the frequency. The miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim occurred only once in history, while the miracles of nature occur every second. Just like the boy from the opening story, whose momentary cessation revealed that what appeared to be his nature was actually his constant will, the same is true of nature itself. So let's be inspired to see past the mask of nature, to find Hashem in every aspect of our lives, and to recognize the miraculous within the natural.